Hello everybody, it's your girl EJ, the Travel Diva, and today we are talking about the steps that you need to apply for a brand new passport. Not a renewal, but a brand new passport. I'm going to walk you through the steps on what you need to get that brand new passport so you can travel the world. But first, before we get into those steps, as a reminder, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that bell so you can be alerted whenever I upload new videos for you with the best travel tips and information so you can be the best traveler. Stick around, watch this entire video because I want to make sure you don't make any mistakes that I made on my first time for applying for a passport, and that your passport processing is not delayed because of any mistakes. Step number one, the most important step, what you will need is to complete a passport application form. That is form DS-11. DS-11 is for a brand new passport, not DS-82. That's for a renewal. So we want to make sure you complete the correct one. A passport application form DS-11. The most important thing about this application that you must know is when you fill it out, do not sign your application before you arrive at the United States Postal Service or your passport processing office. You have to have a witness that you sign that application. So please do not sign that before you arrive to your appointment. Step number two is proof of citizenship. Now you will need to provide some type of proof of citizenship that you are a citizen of the United States, and that is your birth certificate. But there's always a catch. There's one thing you need to know about getting your birth certificate to submit with your passport application. It has to be the long form, not the short form. And yes, there are two types of birth certificates. So if you do not currently have your long form and you go to the birth certificate office, make sure you ask for the long form and tell them you are using your birth certificate to apply for a passport. And that would be a reminder, number two, that they know what type of form you need for your passport application. Step number three, you need a government issued photo ID, and that is typically your driver's license or your military ID. If you do not have a driver's license and you have a government issued photo ID in place of your driver's license, because my nephew had that, you are going to need some additional information. And you want to watch this video right here on what additional information you need if you don't have the proper identification for your passport. Step number four, once you get those items in place, once you have secured your birth certificate and you've completed your form, the next thing you want to do is schedule an appointment with the United States Postal Service or a passport processing office to get your passport processed in person. Step number five, you're going to need a color photo for your passport, not just any photo. So don't go into your phone and pick out that cute selfie because that's not going to work. Of course, you know the government has some specific rules on what you need for that color photo for your passport. And here are the requirements for that photo. It must be 2 by 2 in size. It has to be on photo paper. And it has to be taken within the last 6 months so the government has a clear indication of what your current look is today. And we know that is fabulous, so you want to show up and be your best self. And my advice to you is let the post office or the passport processing office take that photo for you. Now that's a mistake that I made. There are drugstores and places that'll tell you they'll take your photo ID. I did that. I paid $9.99, had my photo already taken, showed up at the passport office, and the photo wasn't to the right specifications. Now, I've already paid. What am I to do? The post office agreed they'll take the photo for me. And of course, I wasn't looking my best self because I had already showed up to the drugstore and had my photo taken on the day I was looking my best self. So to avoid all of that, show up to your appointment looking your best self, have them take your photo, and you are guaranteed that you are meeting all of the specifications. Step number 6, you will have to pay for your passport to be processed. There is an application acceptance fee and an application processing fee. If you are writing a check, you'll just need to write 2 separate checks. One will stay with the United States Postal Service. The second one will go into your passport packet that the post office will put together for you and ship off to the government passport processing office. Step number 7 is to make sure you allow enough time for your passport to be processed. Now, if you have booked a trip and you are going out of the country in 1 month, 2 weeks, I don't suggest you doing that because you need to allow time for if something happens. If the passport office sends you a letter back and says, hey, we need more information, you've got to gather additional identification, something's wrong with your birth certificate. These things have happened. I have seen them happen. So you want to allow yourself ample amount of time for them to not only process your passport, just in case they're delayed, running behind, or there's a pandemic and the office is shut down in the midst. So you want to allow some time for error, and you want to allow some time if you need to gather additional information. Like I said, my nephew needed to gather additional information because he didn't have the right photo ID that met their needs, so they wanted additional information. I have a video on what you need to do if that happens to you, so make sure you check that out if this should ever happen to you. But please allow time for errors and for the passport office to process your passport. Those are my 7 steps on how to get your very first passport. I hope these steps were helpful. Trust me, this is a great investment that you are making because once you get that passport, it lasts for 10 years. You are now free to travel the world. And when someone says, let's go, you are ready to go because you already have your passport. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button for me. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you are getting ready to apply for your passport and you've watched this video, don't forget to come back and comment and let me know that you are getting ready to apply for your passport. And I want to know where you're going on your very first international trip. Well, that's it for me today. And again, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the alert button so you will never miss a video from me. And don't forget to give me that thumbs up.